Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Liminal Boundaries. So tonight we're doing Write With Me, live screenwriting from scratch, day 19. And this is more synthesis for Garvin Hackett. So for those of you who are new, welcome to live screenwriting, the Ballad of Garvin Hackett, a movie script being written completely from scratch. For those of you who are curious about the story, The Ballad of Garvin Hackett is an ironic, darkly comic take on 90s action movies. It's kind of like Forrest Gump meets Scarface, directed by Sidney Lumet, so the laws of physics actually apply. Instead of going the traditional development route, I'm writing this movie in public directly for you to visualize later as a cinematic graphic novel. So yeah, the intention is to create a hardcover book. So grab a notebook or a keyboard and write along with me. If you want to follow along from the beginning, you can check out the Liminal Boundaries channel, and the link is in the description. So I will start by welcoming everybody and see if share your ideas. It's become kind of a ritual for me to just send the welcome into the void, and we start the timer. So where were we? So last time we were working on our characters and our stories, specifically around Whitey Jackson, who's one of the bad guys. So let's go open up Whitey and see what's going on with him, because we're going to need to continue synthesizing. Look at all the stuff we got down here. We're going to have to integrate that into the story. And then I'll open up the story of Whitey and Joelle, and I'll open up the story of Whitey Jackson. Those are the ones that are going. Okay. And then I'll move up all the characters, and I'll move up all the stories. So we just have Garvin Hackett, the characters, the stories, and up at the bottom. And we'll have Whitey. Let's start with Whitey's story. We don't have a lot here, so it's good. So this will just get us back into the mindset. So the setup here is that Whitey wants to be the top dog in Joel's gang without putting in the work. And the escalations we have here, he skips the verification about who he was supposed to kill and put a bomb under Garvin's dad's car by mistake. He doesn't check. He blows up Garvin's dad by mistake. He kills the wrong guy. Then escalation 2, he gets pulled over by his broken taillight and runs when the cops find weed and Colt 45 in his trunk, so he gets arrested. He gets sent to Glades Correctional. Parole violation. He's a career criminal, right? And then escalation 3, he trains Garvin so he doesn't have to do the work himself. So he's in prison. He meets Garvin, who shortly got arrested after his dad was killed. And he trains Garvin to actually take out the gang that he was hired to take out, basically do his job for him. And then escalation 3.5, he uses the prison payphone to brief Joelle and the Venta gang. I honestly think this is going to be merged, escalation 3 and 3.5, because they seem like they could be merged. So yeah. So I'm going to merge them. Just going to go here. On how he pasta. Oopsie, not what I wanted. We'll train. Yeah. Okay. So this is actually an interesting story bit. So we need to get into here. So there's like there's like an escalation 0, which is implied, which we have to tell in the story somehow. We don't have to dramatize it, but it does need to be part of the story at some point. Escalation 0. The Booby Boys gang, which is the enemy gang, right? Shoots up a gay club on South Beach. One of Joel's, let's say, clubs where he distributes party pills, party drugs. Okay, and then Joel tasks Whitey with taking out the Booby Boys gang. The Booby Boys gang boss. Starting with the boss. Okay, so that's actually escalation 0. It's kind of like the setup that never happens. This is sort of backstory. So I put this here. Because then on how he will finish the job even from prison, since he is training Garvin to do it. So he won't have to do the work, manual work himself. And then escalation 4. So now it's more of a story, right? In escalation 4, Whitey's sentence is automatically cut short. The computerized provisional release system simply reselects his name to free up a bed. I'm going to say prison release system because that's more clear. Whitey walks out of prison, the gates, and returns to claim his reward from Joel. And then escalation 5, for doing the job. Which Garvin actually just finished. Okay, and then escalation 5, he has the henchman finish Garvin off. When things go wrong, Garvin comes back, and Garvin figures out that it's actually the Vanta gang that killed his dad, so his revenge turns on them as soon as he finishes with the Booby Boys. And then the twist is Garvin actually kills the henchman instead, and the resolution is Garvin kills Whitey. So there you go. So that's that. So that's the story of Whitey Jackson. And then we go, Whitey is a puppet master pulling the strings from behind bars, directly routing Garvin to Van Gang's pocket without Garvin even realizing it. So that now becomes repetitive, which will be Whitey tells. You'll finish the job in prison out. He will pull the strings from behind bars, directly routing Garvin to the Vanta gang employ. Okay. And then okay, and then how he stays in touch, crooked lawyers, prison payphone, dirty visitors. That's something I have to research. So I'm going to put that into the research questions. What means would Whitey have to communicate with the Venta gang with reasonable privacy. Would he have a small phone? Okay. And it's that. So we'll do research on that. Okay. And so this doesn't belong here, because when we do the research, we'll just work it into the descriptions. And then the historical overcrowding mechanics of the Florida prison system in the early 90s do the heavy lifting for Whitey's automatic release from the Muck Glades Correctional Institution. So I'm going to just take that name and I'll paste it. Okay, so we got that. That's already synthesized. So that's in the story. Cool. And this is just some dialogue. I got a kid who's cold, loyal, and does exactly what I tell him. Go pick him up at the garage. Okay. So that's that. I should put here, consider a beat or Whitey is in trouble. For getting arrested. And now the Vanta gang. And now the Booby Boys are wanting revenge. So that's important. The Booby Boys are actively wanting revenge. That's got to be in the background. We'll figure out how to bring that in. Actually, that's probably in the main story. So let's go here. Let's go story A. Or escalation 1.7, right? Okay. Whitey's in trouble for getting arrested. And now the Booby Boys are wanting revenge. And the Vanta gang is exposed. He's also in trouble with his boss for mucking up the hit. Okay, so we'll clean this up. Whitey is in trouble with his boss Joel for mucking up the hit. And now that he's arrested, that he's in prison, the gang is exposed. Just when the Booby Boys want revenge. Now, the Booby Boys are actually the real name of a gang from 1994 in South Florida. I did not make that up. I couldn't have made that up. I'm not that creative. That's hilarious. When the Booby Boys want revenge. Okay, so these are the stakes. Okay. Therefore, he convinces Garvin Okay, so this is actually much better. It's like tighter now. It's more alive. Okay, so let's go back to Whitey Jackson's story. So we got everything now. That's synthesized. All the research you did is now in his story. Let's go to Whitey Jackson's character, though. We got a lot of work to do there. Let's see. Look at all this stuff. Let's see how much of this we can integrate into the story. So the story as we have it of Whitey's character. So his name is Whitey Michael Jackson. His description, he looks like a 30-year-old Samuel L. Jackson, just very, very dark. That's why his name's Whitey. It's very dark. His game is to get it done with minimum effort. That's how his, what he wants to do. Actually make it to the top of the gang, I think. All right. We'll event a gang with minimum effort. His strategy is he's sloppy, ruthless. Actually, we don't need with minimum effort because it now is redundant. So he wants to make it to the top of the Venta gang. His strategy is sloppy, shortcut taker, does as little work as possible. So that's on it. Over here. I'll just put here. Minimum effort. Sloppy, ruthless, shortcut taker. You'll make a mistake, usually from carelessness, and then just through sheer ruthlessness correct it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then decision 1, he skips the verification about who is supposed to kill and puts the bomb under Garvin's dad's car by mistake. He doesn't check. Decision 2, he defies the police officer that pulls him over and he gets clubbed. He runs. Okay. Decision 3. Then fights him. Yeah, he should fight. It's aggressive. Okay, decision 3. He trains and sponsors Garvin. Okay. Decision 4. He doesn't check to make sure when he kills Garvin, and that leads to his death. So he trains and sponsors Garvin, and yeah, and then he goes and he teaches him to be sneaky and ruthless. Okay. And then the notes. Whitey Michael Jackson is careless but ruthless. Let's just put that in here. Lazy, careless, and ruthless. All right. Puts in minimum effort. Generally does sloppy work with unintended consequences. With unintended complications. If there's a shortcut, he takes it. Okay. And then ruthless. Ruthless. And then corrects them through sheer ruthlessness. Okay. Then decision 1, he skips the verification about who he was supposed to kill, puts the bomb, he kills the wrong guy. So that's careless. In decision 3, he trains teachers to be sneaky and ruthless. And then decision 4, he doesn't check to make sure when he kills Garvin. And so there you go. So now we can delete this note. Careless but ruthless. Okay. And this is just a nice backdrop. Why he's called Whitey. He's the blackest guy in Overtown. Perpetually late. Always late. Okay. He's just like the worst employee. Okay. Okay. This is sort of a character thing. He's a black supremacist, or as he insists, an ethnocentric. And his ideology, he's a George GM James acolyte. Acolyte of George GM James. Okay. George GM James is he wrote Stolen Legacy. Okay. And then we have some background on him. Okay. Born in 1958, Overtown, Liberty City. Miami, Florida. Okay. The neighborhood, the public housing, the pork and beans. Okay. Family. No mom or dad. In picture, grandma raised him. Working as a maid. On the beach. Let's call her a hotel maid. Okay. And then we got his elementary school. Was Dunbar. Elementary school. And then his family was displaced. We got to figure out when that happened. Major event. Family displaced by I-95. Construction. Maybe Whitey hates I-95. Okay, middle and high school. Drew Middle School. And then let's see, middle school. And then high school. Miami Northwestern. Okay. You dropped out. 1972, 9th grade. Age 14. Let's say 8th grade. Because he fell back a year. All right. And then in the mid-1970s, Miami Northwestern and surrounding schools were hotspots for student protests, walkouts, and racial clashes. Following the integration orders for a kid already drifting towards the streets, the chaos in school made it easy to slip through the cracks. Okay. Physical factor. Whitey is skinny on the streets of Liberty City. So this is his character. And I have a description, but I don't have that he's skinny. He's tall and skinny. Yeah. Tall and skinny. All this is BS. We don't need it. I mean, it's true. It's just not our story. It's not like the Whitey story. We can always make something up later if we want to. Okay, H79, H20, major street level street crimes, marijuana, powder cocaine. I think he would have been doing it earlier, but that's just me. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So we're just looking through here at what we're dealing with his timeline. And okay. And then there's a riot here. Right. And the 1980. And let's kill this. Okay. Actually, I'll just do this. I'll bring it to all of them. Okay. And then the last one. Okay, just a little text munging here. So we got his riot timeline. Okay. I think we got some repetition here, but let's see. Okay, yeah, we do have some repetition, but we can fill it in later. Right now, repetition is good actually for the way I work. You just integrate it. Okay, and then the crack epidemic. Great. Okay, so that's his background, and we'll come in and clean that up later. But right now it's a lot less than we had before. Let's see how much we still have to do. Oof, we still got a lot to do. Okay. Scenes. After killing Garvin's dad, police pulls Jackson over for something stupid like no turn signal while he's smoking a blunt and drinking some Colt 45, and look in the trunk and sees evidence of the explosives and crime, but ignore that and focus instead on the bag of weed. And that's how Jackson gets arrested. It's a parole violation, so they give him a few years. Okay, so this is good. So we have, this is actually in a scene already, so let's put it where it belongs. Let's go here. And let's see if we have his story. Okay, and here, yeah, this is the scene where he gets pulled over by the cops, so we'll integrate it. Oh, this is the McDuffie riot. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Okay, and then we'll go here. And we'll type it in. After killing Garvin's dad, Whitey gets pulled over. Okay. Or not using his turn signal. We're not using his turn signal. Okay. So we can erase that. Okay. I don't think there's such a thing as Colt 44. Okay, so after killing Garvin's dad, Whitey gets pulled over for not using his turn signal while... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Maybe this is what I wanted. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's just put it back in here. And I'll go back to where I was. While smoking a blunt, and blunt's the lower, and drinking some Colt 45. I think it's Colt 45. Okay. Okay, the policeman looks in the trunk, sees evidence of the explosives and crime, but ignores that and focuses instead on the bag of weed. It's a parole violation. So they try to. So Whitey runs. Whitey runs for it. Then gets caught. And fights back. Before they subdue him with billy clubs, with nightsticks. Okay. The court gives, okay, okay. We don't need that. Okay, so that's the scene. Okay. And I guess, I don't know. Let's see, I'll just put here, they give him a few years for parole violation. Let's say armed robbery. Okay, so that's that. That's another character. It's another character bit gone from here, from our notes, which is what we want. From our scenes. Oh yeah, this is really important. So there was like a little visual that I wanted to put in there. So, what is story? Nope, we're going as character. And we'll go back up here. No, where were we? Where's the story? That's Whitey. Where's Whitey Jackson? Story A. Story, there it is. Okay. There it is. Okay. So, and that's the little detail that I wanted to put in there. That's not the little detail I want to put in there. That's the little detail. Okay. When they hit his head with the nightstick. He stiffens and dives face first into the ground. Cool. All right. I remember I saw a UFC fight like that, and the guy got hit, and he just stiffened, and he went face first into the ground. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. I saw the guy get tased too. He like ran away, and they tased him, and he just flew face first into the ground. So it's kind of interesting. All right. So I got that. And let's see. So we can delete that. And this is a quote from that scene. So we'll put it into his story. We'll put cop. A little bit of dialogue here. We're now going back to jail. And then maybe Joel could say this. Okay. And let's go back to this character. That's where all the stuff is. Okay. So I have this sort of tension that when Whitey's in prison, he gets a little threatened that Garvin is doing his job for him. Let's see. Let's go into his story. All right. No. There we go. No. Here we go. This third time's a charm. Boom. While in jail, Joe tells Whitey that Garvin is doing his job for him, and Whitey Whitey's sentence is automatically cut short. Okay. Cool. There's the threat he feels from Garvin. And then okay. Okay, so let's X that out. And let's go to a story. Okay. And here, we'll just put this right here. Okay. That makes him, that's funny. What is that? That's he's getting a quote, given history, the whole ethnicity of everyone involved is making him feel a little uncomfortable. And Joel, now that you've noticed, if you want to feel more uncomfortable, you should ask yourself why. And that's like the conversation when he says he's doing his job for him. All right, so that's good. And then I was thinking of having him turn him into the cops. But I'm gonna delete that. It's like another backstory of the police, and I didn't want to make the police a whole subplot, you know? It would be kind of funny if he calls and tries to turn him in, but let's see. Tell someone else to finish the job. Okay. And Joel asks him if he's sure. Okay. All right. So this is at the massacre. This is the scene. So we definitely have that. Let's see. That's a decision. Oh, sorry. Okay. We'll put it at the massacre. We'll put Whitey. Okay. And then the gun goes off behind him because Garvin is alive. He tells someone else to finish the job. Okay. Then he hears the gun go off. Behind him. We're done here. So. Then Joel asks him if he's sure. Yeah. And gets Joel out of the panic room. We're done here. Okay. We're done here. And Joel asks him if he's sure. And then the shot goes off, and then the gun goes off behind him. Whitey smiles. Then the henchman comes back, and Garvin is holding him up. And he's behind him. All right. So Garvin survived. Okay. Cool. So that's done. We got that out of there. Okay. Glades Prison. No one mixes them up. Glades an old brutal farm prison right off Lake Okeechobee. There's no stories for sweltering heat, lack of air conditioning, and violent yard politics. Yeah, I guess I should put this into. This isn't really the. This is more background, right? Yeah. Call it backdrop. I don't need the scenes anymore. We got all the scenes. Okay. And then the philosophy. Yeah. Okay. So I think we need to find out about his philosophy of life. When he's like mentoring Garvin, he like takes it a little crazy and he includes his philosophy and such. So this is just more about his psychology. Right here, undereducated and overcertain. That's pretty good. But that's to his strategy. Okay, cool. And then here. What do you call somebody who's got like a lot of grievance? Let's say he's bitter. What do you call that? Okay. Bitter. Aggrieved. I don't know what you call that. Maybe I'll do a little research. Okay. Yeah, that's important. All right. We'll put that into his strategy. Yep. Careless, overconfident, and ruthless. Undereducated. Okay. So I have to drop the Egyptian mystery system and talk about initiation and grand lodges. Okay. When he's training Garvin. All right. So this is for his training. All right. Let's see. All right. So we do have this for the training part. Yep. Okay. So we have the George G.M. James stuff. And you can have him reading the book. Okay. That's actually interesting. So let's go to his story. Let's see. Let's see. Escalation 2.1. Whatever. Why do you notice this? Garvin. And then I'll put here. Nano Egyptian mystery system. He's reading Stolen Legacy. With George G.M. James. So he's reading. Okay. Stolen Legacy, right? That's what it's called. Yeah, Stolen Legacy. Oh, this is great. That's sorry. Whitey Joel. I'm gonna stick that in there. Okay. Okay. And Whitey. Okay. I have to get their communication system down. That's going to be kind of important. But let's go back to his character. Mm, okay. All this stuff is good quotes. I'll throw them into Whitey Joel. Okay. I'll put other quotes. Okay. And then should have lives there. Hmm. Yeah, this could be. This could be. Let's see. Oh, justification for being sneaky. Okay. That's good, actually. I think I have the stolen legacy in there, right? Yeah. So I gotta get rid of that. Okay. We're cleaning it up. We're actually cleaning it up. Okay. Okay. Cool. So it's sketchy, but there will be a refinement past there. It is where it needs to be. All right. This is speculation. Okay. The 25th dynasty of the pharaohs were blacks. The black Africans from Kush. That's not relevant for our story. There you go. So his philosophy will get more and more extreme. Let's see. Got that. Let's see. There's a story here. Okay, so we'll put escalation 2.1. That's where we'll put the Glades prison stuff. And okay, so we got the place for that bit of description. And then so that's out, it's done. So now we have the riot timeline of his history. And that'd be 1972. What I need is a history, not a background. And then 72. So school was chaotic. Okay. So for 7 years, he probably does a stint. Probably first prison stint. And then he gets out 19. And then he does second prison stint. And he gets out 1989 for the riots. And then the crack epidemic. That's mid to late 80s. So he sees the crack epidemic when he gets out. Right? Okay. And then 1991, kills Garvin's dad. Kills James Robert Hackett. Alright. So second prison stint, this would be armed robbery. Okay. I don't know, maybe breaking and entering. I don't know. I'll put this into my research questions. What is Whitey's record of crimes? All right, he must have killed somebody. By the time the story starts. Maybe accessory or something like that. Okay. Robbery, maybe accessory. So, cool. So we have a timeline. Yeah. We're here. Right. So, yeah. We had a whole timeline of his life. Great. And so the idea is that, yeah, and I'll just put here. Since then, all he's seen is prison, and by chance, when he gets out, riots and civil unrest. Okay. So great. Wow. So these are all decisions. And now we've really worked. We don't need the black supremacist stuff anymore. Although he should say it to somebody. Let's see if we can find a scene to put that in. Let's see. Yeah, maybe with the cops. Yeah. So, yeah, where's his story here? We can take some quotes. No, let's see his character. Maybe Whitey Joel? Yeah. So, you stole it from us? Alright, so that's not as interesting. Maybe he says something to the cop. Yeah, maybe when he fights the cops. I like that. Okay. Let's put that in his character. When he's resisting arrest. He resists, runs, and then fights them. And gets clubbed. Okay. Okay, cool. And I think we have our... over here. I think we have our... Oh, yeah. Alright. Cool. So that's good. So we have like this George G.M. James stuff going on. And then we just have his history. Great. So... So yeah. I think that's it for today, guys. So we've actually synthesized Whitey, I think, completely. The only thing we have left is his background, which I don't know where I'll put that, but it's good to know like his sort of worldview and the chaos that he's seen in the world. And then his story is now really nicely filled in. Yeah, and we can put this quote right in there. No more notes. Okay. And yeah, no notes. Perfect. Maybe Whitey should say something like you stole it from us or something. You know, like his final words, or like That's pretty funny. Let's see. So let's see if we get his character. I think they stole it from us. Like you're just like the Greeks. You're just like the whites or something like that, you know? Right. As he's dying. So, yeah. They stole it from us. That could be funnier, but it gives us an idea. So he's still philosophizing. Alright, guys, so that's it. We've been at this about an hour, and we got all of Whitey's story integrated pretty much, which is pretty good, actually. And we've still got to develop that henchman, but his history is pretty good. And then yeah, this is good. We did a good synthesis tonight. But now the next element is the police. And once we have this researched and integrated, we go to the outline, guys. So we're making progress. This is the 19th hour of writing, and we're getting very close to the full treatment, which we can then expand. So we're a lot farther along than you might think. Awesome. Okay, so at this point, it's a good time to mention. Oops. Sorry about that. Right now, it's a good time to mention if you like what you're seeing and you want to learn the craft, you want to see the tools that I'm using to write. I'm a professional script doctor, and if you want to learn these exact tools demonstrated in this video that working writers use to write, rewrite, and develop stories quickly, this lecture that I prepared will show you how. You've got the QR code right there. The tools that I use apply to any form of narrative storytelling, whether it's screenplays, novels, comics, television, games, all of it. What you see me doing with the sheets, filling stuff in, those are the tools. And you're going to see they're going to create a script very quickly. So far, we're at like, what, hour 19 that I've been working on this? And we're actually very far along on the stories. And then, and I explain how I do it in this screenwriting masterclass. I explain the tools that I'm using. The class includes the full scene breakdowns from well-known films and hands-on guidance for anyone serious about telling stories. Maybe that's you. And a portion of every sale supports the Arts Accelerator, a nonprofit dedicated to developing the skills of emerging artists. And you can learn more about them at artsaccelerator.org. All one word, Arts Accelerator. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. or at the very least, maybe you learned something or got something out of it. And if you stayed with me this long, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me to the end, and I'll see you on the next stream. Now I get to play the music.